kindergartners, it's time for some language arts. Now, if you are an 8-day student, then you are going to be in class reading the story with Miss Beery and Mrs. Morgan. If you are a B-day student, then you'll be listening to the stories today, and then you'll be doing the activities in class on Thursday and Friday. If you're an e-learning student, then you need to make sure that you are listening to the stories with Miss Beery and reading them in your packet with you at home. Okay, let's get started. So our question this week is, how do some things make what they need? So how do certain animals, plants, bugs make things that they need? So we'll be looking at that. We're going to be looking at the story From Nectar to Honey on pages 69 through 77. So make sure you have your book open and you need to use your reading finger to be reading the story with me. Look at the title first. From Nectar to Honey, and it's written by Christine Taylor Butler. And then these are photographs, so we don't have an illustrator in the story, it's just photographs or pictures of real things. So let's open up the story and get starting to read. Get your reading finger ready and we're going to read together. Did you know that flowers help bees? They help bees make honey. Okay, look at that first sentence. That is a question. Did you know that flowers help bees? See the question mark? They help bees make honey. And then I answer the question. So flowers help bees, and then the flowers help bees make honey, which is their food. Let's go into the next page and look. Bees fly many miles each day. They fly from one flower to another. Okay, so in the text, in our story, it tells us that bees travel lots of miles a day. They fly all around from flower to flower. Okay, I need you to turn the page. Okay, reading fingers ready, and that's a big bee. Let's take a look. First, flowers make a sweet juice called nectar. Next, bees sip the nectar. So here's the nectar. Here's the very tip of the flower, and there's a sweet juice in there called nectar. It kind of looks like something sticky in the flower. Okay, it's like what they drink, almost. And here's the bee. Here's the tip of the flower. Oh, and here's a big bee. We can see all these parts. Bees store the nectar in their stomach. So they store the nectar, that's their food, they store it in their stomach, and then we can see the bee parts, the wings, the head, the antlers, so they know where to go. There's the legs, and then the stomach's right back here. And here's our question. How do flowers help bees make honey? Underline the words to tell when the steps happen. So look over here, and it says that the flowers first make a sweet juice called nectar, and then next the bees sip the nectar and they store it in their stomach. Okay, next page. Okay, reading finger ready to read the next page with me. Bees sip the nectar until they are full. After that, they fly back to the hive. So here's a very big beehive. We don't want to mess with that, do we? So once their bellies are full of nectar, then they go back to the hive. They want to make sure they empty their bellies there, right? Because they're full of nectar, they're full of that sweet liquid from the plants. Let's look at the next page. Other bees work in the hive. Then they turn the nectar into honey. So you have some bees that go from flower to flower to flower, and then there's other bees that stay in the hive and they turn that nectar into honey. They're very busy. They're working bees. They work hard. Okay, let's look at the question. What questions can you ask about the steps on these pages? Highlight the answers to your questions. Okay, so we learned that once their bellies are full, they go back to the hive, and there's other bees there that are working to make the honey. So bees are really important. I know that they're not always the friendliest bug, and I know they can sting you and they can be a little scary, but that's how we get honey. If we don't have bees, we don't have honey. Okay, next page. Okay, reading fingers ready. Last 2 pages in the story. Bees store the honey in their hives. They eat the honey in winter. Okay, so just like we talked about last week, how different animals need to migrate because they need to move from place to place so they can find food. Bees, instead, they store all their food in their hive, all that honey, so then they have food all winter long. Last page. We can eat the honey too. So you can see the little one eating the honey on their waffles. I know honey is really good in tea and sometimes on sandwiches, and you can have honey in lots of different things. Okay, thank you so much for reading the story with me today, boys and girls. I will see you tomorrow for another story. And if you are my e-learning friends, then I will see you later for our worksheets. Have a great day. Bye.